Welcome back everybody. Just letting you know that this video was uploaded 2 days in advance on my Patreon. There's a link in the description. You can also get access to the files I used in this video. Welcome back everybody. In this video I'll be trying something new, so I'd really appreciate some feedback. But I will be showing you my process of how I normally create games. And this will be through creating some artwork and then implementing the artwork into what we already have for the Zelda Combat tutorial. So it will be replacing the basic bullet with a sword. I'll be making the artwork for the player be a knight, and I might even do the enemies, but I might save that for a different episode. But yeah, I'll just get straight into it, and we're going to start by going into Gimp. So as you can see, I've already dragged in a sprite sheet from the game. And this is just a simple 6 thing. And I talked in my one of my latest videos. I talked about sprites and actors, and how we save sprites by using the animated actor because it just flips the one facing right to facing left. And I'm going to use this as a basis because there's no point of starting from scratch if you already have some help, already given to you. So first of all, I'm going to start by turning on the grid, and I'm going to configure the grid to 8x8 so that we can actually see it as we see it in the game. So each one of these 8x8 bits is a tile in game, so we can better make an informed decision about our artwork. So I'm going to keep this simple, but I am going to try and be a bit creative. As you can see, that there's already the feet and hands that move back and forth, and I don't see any reason to change this. So I'm just going to change the head to be a helmet, like a knight's helmet. So I'm just going to create a new layer, and I can start doing my work on that. But let's first start off by turning the face into a helmet. We may have to completely redo some bits, but let's see what we can do first. Okay, so we have this. I'm thinking I want my helmet to be a bit spikier. It now looks like Conehead, but we want kind of a knight's face on it. So it's always best to look at some reference whenever you're doing any kind of art that's inspired by something, just to help you, so you're not doing it all from your brain. And obviously with these free GB Studio colors, it might be quite difficult. But already you can see this is turning into a helmet. Trying to be kind of creative here. So the question I'm having now is, do I want the light green as the base color, or do I want the white as my base color? I think I want the green as the base color, just so I can use the white as a highlight. This already looks quite knight-like, but maybe the rounded head doesn't work too well. It's always okay to try again, something new. Let's see if we can add that highlight now. I'm not sure if this works. I think I like that. I think I'm gonna go with this. So it now looks like some kind of helmet. I might square off the bottom a bit more. Yeah, I think that looks great. So now I can just copy this over. And then we've easily we've easily just made 2 frames so we can make the character look like they're walking. But that'll be just towards us, and then we can do, I think I'll do the side now just so we can get a better sense of the side. Obviously what I'll do is just make it from the side, so we can use this eye that's already there because we use the same place. And we can add in the white, and we can also add in the green around it. And now this is where we have to ask questions of what actually shape is the helmet. So if looking at your reference would definitely help. And I think I want mine to slope back. Actually, I think it would, I like this harsh upwards bit here. So I think I'll just round off the back a bit more. And I can already see that doesn't quite work, so I will try and look back at some of my reference. I think it might be best to have the spike in the middle, just like we have, like if we want it to be the idea that it's round, we might want to just copy the shape from this and even keep the highlight. That might be a smart idea. Okay, so I've pasted it down onto it, and obviously it doesn't work instantly, so I'll have to try and fix it. But I can see that maybe it just doesn't work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bit over here so that it looks more like the front of the mask is flat and the back is rounded, just to give it a kind of feeling, I think. I think that works quite well. Let's just make sure we have the same design. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. It's making me wonder whether or not we want to do this the way. Nope, I don't like that. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty happy with this. So I can just copy it onto the other one. Okay, I'm gonna merge this down onto this layer so I don't have to worry too much. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so now we have the front, the side, and now I need to do the back. And I'm thinking the back will just use the same shape as his head already is, and just use the same highlights. I don't think I want the back of the helmet to be too... I don't want it to stand out too much, mainly because I don't want it to seem like it's the front. So what I'm going to do is just make this green. Fill this in. Put the white highlight on it. Maybe here. Okay, this doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the back of the back of it seem more flat. Okay, this does represent it pretty well, but maybe I want to bring up a line into it so that it looks like it has some kind of form. I could even diver it. But I don't think that works either. I zoom out so I can see it more as if it was from the game. But I think I'll just remove that line. Maybe I want to just move up this whole thing. Nope. Don't like that. I think it needs more shape. I think what I'm going to do is add the white highlight to it. Okay, so I've added this highlight here. I'm trying to make it seem like it's the lip of the back of the helmet. I'm not sure it works, but it at least brings some difference to the visual here. Might do what there is on the hair here and add a highlight, but I'm not sure it works. So let's just take it and put it in the game, I reckon. Okay, so now they both, it should be at least be consistent. So what I want to do now is export into the sprites folder and call it night. Hop into the game and see what happens. I'm going to change the player's sprite to the night, and you can already see it kind of looks quite nice. I'll just press play. Right, so here we are. We are the night. Like I said, the back doesn't look that great, but at least we're getting a better sense of the shape. I think the eyes need to be further apart, maybe. But it doesn't really matter since it's so small. But it does at least look like a a Templar helmet or something, which I quite like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sword. I'm going to make it so when the player attacks, it's a sword. And that will be pretty simple, I think, because obviously it's just a sword. I might do a slash actually, but I'm just going to hop into it and see what we can do. So I'm opening up a new document, and I've got it as 16 by 16. I'm going to turn on the grid and configure it to 8 pixels by 8 pixels so that we can see it more like we would see it in a game. And I'm going to draw a sword with a swipe. So I'm just going to use the black. I'm just going to keep it very simple. Maybe I think maybe if we make it have a black outline and it's green on the inside, it might work. Okay. So I'm going to make the handle green. And the sword white. And now I'm going to add a slash, so to make it seem like it did a movement. And I've seen this in many other games. Okay. When I did a paint bucket fill there, and you have to turn off diagonal neighbors. If you're wondering what software I'm using, it's Gimp, and I've made a video about it before. But here we are, we have a simple slash, and it looks kind of like a sword. I might want to add, it's here, maybe not. So yeah, this is pretty simple, but let's see what it looks like in game. Let's just export it. I'm calling it sword swing right, because it's as if the player is on the left, so they would use this if it's swinging right, if the player is facing right. And I will probably have to make a one for it when the player is facing left, and up and down. But that's very easy to do once I've tested this. So what we have to do is just go into GB Studio and change the sprite sheet for the bullet to the sword swing right. Now if we press play and see what it's like, we should be able to see how it looks. And if you can actually see here, the left and right actually mirrors it, and it actually does look like it's swinging. We look like we're swinging a sword, which I'm actually surprised that GB Studio does that. So when you go left, it does it left. When you do right, it does it right. When you do it up, it still looks like it's going right, and down still looks like right as well. So what that actually says is we only need to make an up and down one now, and all we have to do is rotate the sprite in Gimp. So let's just go and do that. Okay, so if I duplicate this layer, by right-clicking it, I can make a copy of it and then just rotate it. Now I know that the rotating the tool doesn't actually work very well. I think you have to put the interpolation to none, and then if we just set it to this, we have to write in -90, I think, just so it's exact, and then press rotate, and then boom, yeah, it's exactly what we wanted, because I think it's the interpolation that we want to set it to. If you rotate it without the interpolation put off, then it blurs some of the pixels, because it's mainly for larger images and making things not seem jagged, but we want it to be jagged because it's pixel art. Let's call this sword swing up. And then if we copy this, duplicate layer, and we use the flip tool, and we do it vertical, it instantly just flips to upside down. So we can export that as sword swing down. And now it's saved, I can jump back into GB Studio, and I can now set this up to work. So what I want to do is, obviously before we had it so when a player presses B, it just does the attack based on whichever way they're looking. But now we want to make a check. We want to see if they're facing up or down, and change the sprite that we're using to be the sword up or sword down swing. And if it isn't up or down, then we just should do this normal one, because we know it works left and right. So what we're going to do is just have a check saying if actor facing direction. Is there a player facing direction? Nope. That's fine. If actor facing direction up, then we want to copy this, and we want to put the sword swing up, and then we can disable the else. Yeah, we can disable else because we're going to be putting in the next one after anyway. So we put facing down, then we can put sword swing down, and I press stop script. And what this means is if it does do this, then it will just stop, and it won't then do the other one. And it means we can have multiple things on the attack if we wanted to, which I will want in the future. So let's just press play and see how it goes. Right, so we got left, we know we got left, we got right, we got up, works perfectly, works down. The only problem now is that when it's facing up, the sword is overlapping the player's sprite, and that's an easy fix. And I think we would want it to be further up anyway, because the cat can technically be over us here. So I'm just gonna go back here when it's on up, offset by, let's say 16, or is that too far? Let's try 16, and then press play and test it. Now it's a bit too far. I think ideally it would be on 13, but this is the kind of things that they don't technically matter too much, because they're so small and easy to fix that you can easily fix them, right? Like, you can just sort it out. It really doesn't matter much. I think maybe 14 would have been perfect, but it honestly doesn't matter. Let's leave it there. So now what I want to do is have an attack animation. I want the player's sprite to change when they attack so that it looks like they're lunging. What I'm going to do is save this original knight and then duplicate it. And then what I'm going to do is view the grid again, and I'm going to move down these things so it's instead of it being an animated sprite, it's just a actor, or just a, instead of it being an animated actor, it's just a normal actor. And we can even press image and then crop the content, and now it's back down to the three things. So what we want to do now is make it look like they're lunging. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the head down, and maybe even the hand down as well. So let's grab that, grab this, move it down. So now it looks like they're lunging. I'll just check which way the sword was. Okay, the sword is actually this way, so what I'm going to do is just going to pick up this, put it back down, and flip it horizontally. So it's using the correct hand. When it's up, it's on the right as well. So we want to keep it like this. But this time, I think I'm going to move the hand up because that's where we want it to be. Actually, where do I want the hand to be? Obviously the sword would be up here. So maybe we want to hide this. We want to hide this, this hand. And then just do this. You can add a bit more black here. So it looks like that the player is lunging forward. And then for the right, this will obviously be flipped in the game when we're actually attacking on the left, but this is for the right. So I'm just going to move the body back one and probably the head forward one. And maybe keep the hand there. Okay. Let's move the hand forward one. The head forward, fill in the gaps again. I actually want to fill it in with color. I want to make it look like he's lunging. I don't really know what's going on here. Maybe he's wearing a belt, but I'll add in this just for some texture. Because it's so small, it doesn't really matter that much. But let's see how this looks. Let's save this as Knight Lunge. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to change the sprite sheet when they attack and change it back when they finish attacking. So what we just want to do is change player sprite sheet. Okay, set player sprite sheet. We want to set it to the lunge. And then we want to set it back once they've finished lunging to the knight. We'll do that on each 3 of the attacks. So just want to set to knight lunge, set to knight lunge, and I'll copy the knight and put it here and put it here. So save that, and then let's see how it looks. Okay, so the cat is coming for us, and I think it's changing the sprite for a tiny millisecond. And obviously that isn't what we want. We want it to linger long enough to be able to see it. So what I'm just going to do is put a weight in there. So we just need to put weight. And we can put to 0.2. That might be too long. Maybe 0.1. We want to put it before we change back the sprite, but after we've attacked, because this otherwise it just you'll see it. We'll see if it works or not. If it doesn't, now I might have to change it around. But I think this is how it should work. Lovely, let's see how it looks. Okay, so it does look like they're they're throwing themselves back and their head is going forwards a bit. And it actually does look like they're attacking. Problem here is they look like they're spinning around when they attack, which makes me wonder whether or not we put the correct sprite sheet. And did we make the sprite sheet correctly? Okay, so I'm going to have to do a temporary fix for this because I don't know why it would be doing that. I think it's just setting it to the sprite sheet and then updating it to the way the actor's facing, which doesn't seem to do it for any of the other ones. So what I'm going to do is take this backwards facing one and export it as its own sprite. So I'll just duplicate it. I need to turn this grid back on, and then I'm going to crop to selection and then export it as night backwards. I'm just going to put it in the sprite folder, and now if we set it to that sprite, so night backwards, shouldn't have any problem because it's just making it face, it's just setting it exactly to that sprite, to that frame of the sprite. So let's press play, and now if we attack down, we definitely look like we're lunging, and it's still doing it. Okay, I honestly don't know why that's happening. I think it's just a bug with GB Studio, thinking that it's facing up for us or down for a slight second, but obviously we both know that it's not. So I think I'm just gonna have to leave it there. I think in the next episode what I'm gonna do is make it so the enemies have this kind of thing as well, maybe making some goblins or something, and so that they look like they attack. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helped you have an insight into how I make my games, and maybe given you some skills that you can put forward into your game to make it have a bit more juice to it. And if you did, please like and subscribe, leave a comment of anything you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching everyone. If you want to get exclusive access to these videos before they go live on YouTube, then head over to my Patreon. You can also get access to the files I used in this video.